Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we are reviewing Dying Light 2 for Xbox Series X and S. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started with this. So, first things first, we got to talk about the next-gen console support for this game. While it is disappointing that you're not getting a 4K 60 presentation for this on your Xbox Series X, and you are stuck at 30 frames a second on your Xbox Series S, I do not completely condemn the game to not buying this game. So I did struggle. I mean, you got to remember, man, I'm a gamer just like you guys. I have the same anxiety, I have the same fear, I have the same, wants, desires, unrealistic expectations. I have all of that, and I suffer from all of that just like you guys do. I do not tend to, I'll be honest with you, like when I hear 1080p 60 on a next gen game, like my first impression is, ooh, I'm not buying that. Like I turn my nose upward and I'm not buying that. So yeah, I do suffer from the same things you guys do. But let's look at it from this point of view. Does that necessarily matter as much as we give it credit for? I mean, does it really completely affect does it really affect the way we enjoy our games? I can honestly say, after playing Dying Light 2 for almost 20 hours now, that yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily that big of a deal, because I have tried every single mode. I've been playing the last 8 hours of the game in the 4K mode, like the resolution mode, and I've found that if you turn off VRR on a TV that has VRR, it's a much more stable experience. It runs as good as it was playing on my Series S at 1080p 30. I have played the least on the Series S. I've probably got about 2.5 hours of play on the Series S. And during that time, I haven't ran into any bugs. I haven't ran into any game-breaking problems or anything that would make me feel like you're not getting a solid experience on the Xbox Series S. Now, I do plan to continue playing more of this game. This game is big, and me just sticking to the story content has been pretty it's been pretty straightforward for the most part, but there's so much to explore in this game, so many different things to do. Man, this game is literally, if Far Cry 6 and Assassin's Creed had a baby, like boom. That's perfect way to kind of illustrate just how good the parkour feels in this game, and the combat. Like, wow, I'm surprised it feels as good as it does. Like, it really is good. The abilities and stuff that you gain along the way while you're playing this game, it completely transforms the experience and makes things better. Climbing water towers to adjust the water, or electric stations, to kind of shift the balance of, what's going on in the world. Like, this game's got some pretty deep and interesting things that can go, that open up different ways to enjoy your gameplay during the city. Like, if you help out, depending on what faction you help out, if you help the peacekeepers or you help the survivors or whatever, the survivors are going to give you more parkour type stuff, whereas the PK, the peacekeepers or whatever, they're going to make things a lot, like you'll be able to fight stuff better. Like, you'll have more weapons and stuff at your disposal. So far, for the most part, I've just been kind of keeping things half and half. I'll unlock one and then I'll do one for the other. So just kind of going back and forth in my first playthrough. But like there's the gameplay altering stuff that you get into in this game. Wow, like it really does kind of change things and make things completely different, to where you're like, wow, man, this the city changes. Like if you do certain things, the things will change. And I mean, so imagine like a Far Cry 6, but just better. Like when you do certain things, like when you do things, it just makes things better because it adds different things into the world. Like say for instance, you say you take over a power company and you give that to the survivors. They're going to give you zip lines that are going to make it easier for you to get across town in certain areas. Now, I'm not completely finished with the game yet, because I plan on completely like exploring all of this. So far, story wise, like it's not like whoa, that's the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it's not bad by any means. Like I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like it's not bad. I mean, it's believable. I mean, it's a fictional game, so it's pretty cool. To tell you the truth, I'm not having a problem with the story whatsoever. I think it's fine. The characters that I've met along the way, like it's like you'll meet a character and you want to like, you're like, whoa, yeah, this character's kind of cool. And then maybe later in the game, you know, like maybe you'll like start to have different feelings about those characters, you know, due to actions and stuff that they do. It just depends on how your mood is, I'm assuming, because I've met like characters and like it'll be going one way and then like something will happen and then like you'll see a different side of them and you're like, wow, man, like I didn't see this coming, you know. So I mean, I've kind of been kept on my edge a little bit, you know. Just how different characters are going to react to different things and how you're going to, you know, like say you take something over and there's like a choice, you know, you can kill the people or you can let them live or something like that. It's just choices like that have a tendency to like either come back and bite you in the butt or come back and help you and stuff like that at a later time. And that's pretty freaking cool. Like I like that fact that you never know exactly what you're setting in motion when you do something in this game, and it's believable. And it does make me feel like there's real consequences that are going to affect certain things in this story and in this game. I love open world games. The way this game is structured and the way that things are happening right now in Dying Light 2 have really got me thinking that, dang, this game is pretty freaking solid. Now, when Techland says that they've got 500 hours worth of stuff in this game, I believe it. I believe it because everything that I've experienced, I don't even feel like I've scratched the surface. There's really cool challenges in here to do. And I mean, like most of the side stuff, most of the side content that I've experienced so far feels meaningful. It doesn't feel like it's... I'm not going to say it's as good as The Witcher 3 story or like content wise, side content wise, but it's pretty good. Like it's up there. And you know, everything that's in this game, like this is already, in my opinion, way better than the first game. The first game was pretty dang good, and I'm still playing around with the first game, but this one here, it cranks everything up to 11, and it's smoother. It feels smoother. The combat feels better. The pacing in the game and the story and everything, it just feels better. And the amount of freedom you've got, like right out of the gate, is amazing. When you get to the bigger city in this game, and you see the sheer verticality of everything that's going on here, it's fun. It is fun to play around, to jump from buildings to buildings. And like you're like early on in this game, you'll be thinking, you're like, wow, man, is this really all this has to offer? And then you get to like different parts of the city and like bigger things open up. And I had this one sequence where I'm like running across like a freeway bridge, and you're jumping through things and you're doing things and you're traversing this and you're trying to get across this crumbling bridge and stuff. And I mean, during that moment, I was like, wow, this is freaking great. I love just how much attention to detail has went into this game to make these set pieces that really feel like this is cool. Like it's got that cool, like, it's got like cool things in it like that really make this game stand out more than any first person like open world game I've ever played. Like Far Cry's are fine. They're fine. But this one here cranks that up. I like this. Let me put this out there. I love this game way more than Far Cry 6. Way more, right out the bat. There's this chase sequence that like something's chasing me and I'm running through these like sewer tunnel type things, and you're jumping, swinging across, climbing up. It's so fast paced and so freaking like tension building during this whole freaking sequence that you're like, whoa, man, this is great. For anybody that's like freaked out about like scary games or anything like that, this has been more like I mean, yeah, it might freak some people out just because of the tension inducing stuff that you'll be doing in this game. But the game flows so well. The stuff that like the parkour and the combat and everything flows so well that you don't feel like you don't get that like, oh my gosh, man, what if I mess up? What am I? It doesn't give you that feeling. It gives you that feeling of like, oh boy, I gotta get away. And like checkpoints and restarts and stuff like that, like after dying, like I've died a lot. Like I do die a lot in this game. And it's like it's not so irritating that you're like, oh gosh, like I was like it's something that like when you die, you're like, okay, I could have done this different. And it gives you that desire to just go back and keep trying and keep playing. Like it really does. If you're squeamish and you don't do well with zombie scary games like that, because there are some sections in this game that are dark that you're gonna feel like, oh gosh, man, like, but they're kind of like stealth sections, and they're not like you can stealth through them and be okay. Like me, sometimes like, but once you go loud, like you go loud, it gets frantic. And if you're not good with frantic situations, then I don't know. Honestly, it hasn't been that bad. It hasn't been like the first game feels way more frantic to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man! Like, and it feels frustrating. This does not feel frustrating at all. Like, it doesn't ever feel cheap. It doesn't feel frustrating. It feels like you can do these things, and you feel like strong enough as a character to do these things. The situational awareness when you're doing parkour and stuff, when you like jump from one platform to another and you can pan the camera down to see your feet to see where you're going to land, like just things like that makes you feel like you're in the world and like you're moving, and the momentum of the movement and stuff like that, it feels good. Like it feels like you feel like you're in control. You don't feel like, okay, I'm jumping to this ledge and where am I going to land? Like you feel good about things. Pretty early on, you'll learn to gauge, just how far you can jump and what's gonna happen if you'll understand that pretty early on. Like you kind of get a sense of space and awareness like that I haven't really felt in a game like this. Like it feels more immersive than I ever thought it was going to. Like watching video of this game and while people are playing it, like you kind of understand like it. For me, when I was watching gameplay before it launched, I was like, okay, that just looks like another game. But until you actually play the game, like it wasn't like the combat's impactful, the parkour is super impactful, it feels super good. It's all these little things that bring this game together, and gosh, it's just such a smooth experience out of the gate. It feels pretty polished for the most part. Like gameplay, like performance wise, this game is freaking phenomenal. It's phenomenal on anything that I've played it on. It is phenomenal. When it comes to like visuals and resolution and stuff like that, yeah, definitely visuals look a little last gen, for real. I mean, they do. But then sometimes in this game, visuals look freaking amazing. I'm like, whoa, that looks great. When you get to this part that I'm at right now, it's kind of toward the end of the game. I got like 6 missions left, and it's called like Cathedral. And when I got here and I start seeing the area around this, like, my gosh, it's freaking pretty beautiful. It looks pretty dang good, and I'm like, wow, this is great. There's plenty of stuff to pick up. There's lots of things to run around here and do. You can just stop worrying about like the things and just explore this city, and it's pretty cool. The day-night cycle feels great. being chased at night like is pretty freaking cool. Like the longer you do it, the higher it like builds up, and the more score and stuff you get. I've gotten all the way up to chase level 3, and it's pretty fun. Like it is definitely fun. I do recommend this game. I do. I highly recommend it. Do I think that you should? I think that you'd be foolish to pass on this game for something for something like it not having 4K 60 support. What it does have in the 1080p 60 frames a second performance mode, it is freaking stable, super stable, and it feels good. And after about 10 minutes of playing around on that, even on my 4K TV, I was like, you know what, man, really isn't that bad. I mean, things look a little bit softer or whatever. And I mean, but the gameplay is just so addicting that doesn't matter. So the last, what is it? Like probably the last 8 hours of play that I've been doing in the resolution mode. And like I said, after I turned off VRR support on my Xbox, it's been a much smoother experience. The only time I start to feel sick now is when I'm in like corridor areas and stuff, and that's only like when I'm in like a slow paced situation, like where if I'm in like a camp or something and I'm walking around in the corridors and stuff and moving the camera a lot, if for some reason that still kind of makes me a little dizzy. But other than that, I'm having a really good time playing this game. I'm having a really good time playing this. I will be playing this for a while. I will be exploring this world a lot. I will be upgrading my character as much as I can. I've focused most of my build so far on my parkour. Like I put a couple points into health, but mostly everything else is going into parkour because that's the funner part of it. That's so fun. I love it. I think it's great. I think that this game's definitely gonna amass a big following, and all I can say is, man, I'm happy that I looked past the 1080p and I picked this game up and I played it and I gave myself my own thoughts on it. I didn't listen to the world around me telling me like, oh my gosh, that's 1080p, it's not good. I've found a way to accept it and live with it, and I'm having a great time playing this game now. Like, I'm so grateful that I picked this up and that I'm playing it, because this game is solid. Like, everything is solid. I'm pretty sure Techland will I'm pretty sure if there's a way they can optimize this to make it better, they will. Now, my first impressions were a little bit harsh on that, talking about the parity and everything else. But I mean, they even made the PlayStation 4 version running parity with Xbox, with the regular base Xbox One. So if that's the case, I know for a fact these guys were shooting for stability out of the gate. They just wanted it stable. They did use everything. Everything is being underutilized for this game so that they could have a stable launch, because clearly nobody wants another Cyberpunk launch. Nobody wants another Cyberpunk 2077 launch. So what Techland did, I applaud them for it. Thank you for giving us a playable game that does not freaking fall apart. Now, I've seen some of the people that are playing on the PC, and you got to understand that the bigger guys that are reviewing this, they're playing on the PC. Because when I applied for code for this game, that was the platform that code were going out to, was the PC. I didn't get one for this game, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because being able to play this on my own money and on my own dime and get my own experience out of this, I feel better. I feel better that I was able to. I feel much better about this game, paying for this game. I feel a lot better than just kind of giving the developers my opinion. I'm happy that I bought this, and I do feel that with enough time and dedication to this game, Techland will more than deliver on an experience that will upgrade this for next gen. This is a game that's made to be played for a long time, like Witcher 3. This game has plenty of stuff to play. The online multiplayer in this game, I will be digging into that, and I will kind of maybe come back and talk more about that. I didn't play any of it yet because I'm more of a single player guy, and I wanted to get in there and kind of just really rummage around through this game and really get a good feel for it before I brought you a review. And I'm more than confident that this game is solid. More than confident. And I do believe that Techland will eventually upgrade this game and optimize it so that it is amazing on your next gen consoles, on your last gen consoles, on your Nintendo Switch, on everything. So if you like this content, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want any more, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I will answer you, and I will do what I can to find out information that you need. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.